Imagine your project that you fell on 15 times today. Let's be real, if you don't change something about your climbing, you're probably never going to get it sent before it's reset. And you'll spend the next few months wondering if you ever could have done it in the first place. Today, we're changing that because I'm going to share with you 5 climbing habits that will boost your performance so you can send those projects more consistently. And stick around because even just one of these habits could be holding you back from your next project. But for a bit of fun, I'm going to try and film this while doing my warm-up for my training session. So let's see how much we can pack in. This first habit is a little bit different than the other habits on the list, but I see so many climbers struggle with it, that's definitely worth putting at the top. One climber in particular that struggled with this had decent footwork, but she often fell on moves that almost looked easy for other climbers to accomplish. After watching her climbing, it actually became pretty clear why. She would often use her arms to move her body. It took a little while for us to develop a better habit, but eventually she did get the habit that was more ideal. In this case, instead of moving your body with your arms, we want you to move it with your hips. So get in the habit of using your hips to drive you in the direction you need to go, whether you're climbing statically or dynamically. Let's go talk about one habit that's going to ensure any strength gains you get relate to climbing gains. This happens to a lot of climbers, but one climber in particular comes to mind. She was getting a lot of strength gains for her pull-ups, but she wasn't seeing progress regarding her climbing. And after watching her climb, it actually became pretty evident why. The habit that she had developed is very similar to what you're seeing right now, or maybe you can see it. It's regarding my posture. A lot of times climbers will roll their shoulders forward while they're climbing, which makes it hard for you to engage the back muscles. Instead, roll your shoulders back, put your chest out, and this will engage those big muscles in your back. So the habit here is to make sure that you are putting your body in a position that will give you the advantage of those big muscles, not just your back, but also your glutes, your legs, your core, all of that. Next, we're gonna talk about a habit that will ensure you are executing movements perfectly. But first, let's go warm up the shoulders a little bit more. I was working with a climber who was doing a ton of wonderful things. He was doing drills, he was practicing climbing, he was doing weightlifting. See, because he was doing all of the things, he was getting tiny, tiny benefits in all of the little places. After evaluating his climbing, we realized that the number one thing holding back his climbing was body position. So over the next 6 weeks, instead of spreading his time and effort across all of the things, he focused on just body position. In 6 weeks, he increased his climbing by 2 grades. Imagine what would happen if you went up 2 grades because of focus. And that's the kind of power that focus has. The last habit helps climbers at all levels break in and see real improvement. But first, let's dig into a habit that changes the way we look at movement. I was helping a climber on a route very similar to this. Every time he engaged his heel hook, he started feeling a strain and it hurt. So I asked him to send me a video of what he was talking about, and I noticed that he wasn't flexing his hip out as well. So what was happening was he was putting a lot of strain in his ankle and knees, hence the strain and the pain, and he needed to open his hip. As soon as he opened his hip, he was able to unlock the next move without pain. The habit here isn't to open your hips when you are working on a heel hook. The habit is to listen to your body. It's telling you something. If it hurts, are you doing the movement or technique correctly, or do you need to make adjustments? A lot of climbers are so focused on reaching the top that they have created a habit that actually really prevents you from leveling up your climbing skills. If your goal is just to reach the top, it's likely that you're missing out on a very essential habit that will help you improve your climbing on every single route you use, even those warm-ups. This is especially common when climbers are using drills like this one, where you're going to keep your arms straight to develop utilizing your legs instead of your arms. Oftentimes, climbers will bend their arms because their goal is to reach the top when it should be to finish the drill. So develop the habit of focusing on technique and movement instead of reaching the top. This means you might not get to the top on easier routes because you're more focused on the movement, but this habit will enable you to learn more and get stronger faster. So it's totally worth it. Though these habits will boost your performance, you need to understand technique and how to train those techniques to really level up your climbing, which is why I made this video.